That was something that actually, now that you say that, Team One was also talking about the dependencies, and I think they had a problem with Python, the versions of Python that they were using, maybe, or not. I can't remember exactly what it was that they were having trouble with, but I remember it was dependencies.
Yeah, yeah.
And
it was Python version.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I can understand that that is a tricky one. And I've heard people talk about that in meetups too, especially when you get, I mean, right now we're just working with MLflow, right? But when you start to add a few different tools on top of that, the managing dependencies part really becomes half the battle. And so how do you make sure that you can manage all of these? Has anybody, this is just like a little bit of a tangent, but does anyone have any good ways of doing that?
I can chime into this, but
Yeah.
because our company spent a lot of energy on getting this right. And I mean, one thing is that try to avoid using notebooks as much as possible, because you have this tendency of installing anything onto your notebook server and then train a model and then send it to production, and then who knows what's. So what we did is we run everything in a Python script, and we recreate the virtual environment from the Docker's, so from the repositories requirements.txt. And if it doesn't work, then you can fix it and rerun it. But you know that the next person who downloads it into a new machine and creates a new virtual environment, we're going to have the same virtual environment. And pinning down the versions is very important, because you do get so scikit-learn are not compatible over different versions, and you're just going to get errors which can trip unit tests. So this is very important. I think from the Slack channel, you know that I don't like notebooks, but that's my bottom line.
I would just add that I don't fully agree with the notebooks. I still don't think if they are great or not, if they're awful. But I would just add that yes, scripts and environments, and I think this is like really important to base both your training, like development environment and inference environment, from the same base image. Because like in my company, we often get into troubles, even if having the same Docker file building on the same machine, on the same configuration in one cluster in Azure. No, in AWS it works. In Azure it's segmentation faults, and who knows what happened down there. So yeah,
completely.
We could probably have used like a GitHub runner or something like that to make the process more replicable, like running a Docker image with all the dependencies.